The objective today is to accurately describe what a data visualization of a trend is showing. So these types of lessons are some of my favorites, data analysis essentially, and we can go in so many different directions. That's the reason why it's one of my favorite types of lessons to teach. When you post information to a social network, watch a video online, or simply search for information on search engine, some of that data is collected and you reveal what topics are currently on your mind. So when a topic is quickly growing in popularity, it is often said to be trending. But there are many different trends or patterns we might find in this data, including historical trends. These patterns might help us to identify, understand, and predict how our world is changing. So as a bonus optional Think Right Share there, tell me the difference between a regular trend and a historical trend. Search trends are used in a variety of fields in order to understand what topics are most popular across the country and world. You can probably already see what the benefits of that would be. It says here that search trends are also powerful predictors. Medical professionals may use this information to trace an outbreak. Businesses, media outlets, and advertisers keep a close eye on trending topics in order to understand customers' thinking. The fact that a global conversation is now happening online and computational tools exist to capture and visualize that conversation enables entirely new ways of identifying, understanding, and predicting patterns in culture and society at large. So based on search results, here's just one specific example I wanted to share with you. We can predict when a flu outbreak is about to happen just by studying what people in a particular area are searching in terms of symptoms. If a lot of people start rapidly searching the same kind of symptoms, you can obviously expect the word outbreak to be used for that particular sickness. So we're going to go to trends.google.com today. I had a lot of fun searching hexadecimal, so I'm going to use that as my example here. And one of my favorite breakout pieces on the website about hexadecimal trends is the related topics area right here. So number 1, communication protocol, 2, method computing, programming, Swift, 8-bit, base 64. Oh man, we have not even talked about base 64. So the idea that I search something that we're about to start learning and then it gives me number 5 there is a great thing. Great opportunity for me to take my learning in that direction right now, just as a side channel to our main objective. Spend some time just exploring the tool, have fun, but you will eventually need to choose a single topic or set of topics to answer the questions that appear on the bottom of the activity guide. And here they are. This is the bottom of the activity guide. It says students should find a trend or set of trends they think is particularly interesting or personally relevant and try to tell a story from the data you're seeing, okay? You'll write down as Think Right Shares, 1, 2, 3. 1, a description of what you were trying to look for when you typed that into the search trend. 2, an accurate description of what the visualization is showing. 3, a plausible explanation of why that trend might happen. If you get stuck here, I suggest using one of our innovation websites to find something to search for on Google Trends, such as AI, robots, machine learning, cyborgs. All these things we talk about on Fridays in terms of innovation would be a great thing for you to search. So using my example and how I answered those questions, I searched hexadecimal, a description of what I was just looking for. I said I'm curious because we're learning about that very soon. For the second one, to provide an accurate description of what the visualization is showing, I say that the visualization is showing a large dip near December 25th. However, my favorite category of data was the related topics, which included communications, protocol, and computer programming. So that's also what the visualization was showing me. A plausible explanation of why that trend might have happened. Oh, so what I'm thinking is I believe around Christmas time, students are not in school learning about computers, learning about hexadecimal. So that explains the very significant drop I saw around Christmas time. So just some search tips, okay? It says search term tennis shoes. And then the type of results you'll see just by typing in tennis shoes will include searches containing both the word tennis and shoes in any order. Results can also include searches like red tennis shoes, funny shoes for tennis, or tennis without shoes. No misspellings, spelling variations, synonyms, plural or singular versions of your terms are included. So right here inside this objective, I'm trying to give you a mini lesson on when searching things. things. So my think, write, share for this slide is, what is the trick when using 2 words in a search? In other words, what could go wrong? Some more search tips. If you were to put tennis shoes in quotes, results include the exact phrase inside the double quotes, possibly with words before or after like red tennis shoes, but tennis shoes will be in that exact order when you use the quotes. If you add tennis plus squash, results can include searches containing the word tennis or squash. Tennis minus shoes, results will include searches containing the word tennis but exclude searches with the word shoes. So if you're just trying to learn about tennis and you want nothing related to shoes, just add the minus sign. Think, write, share. In what way could these symbols help someone search something? Now give me a real life example, please. Okay, so a pretty short lesson because we're spending a lot of time on trends.google.com. Right here, though, I'm just giving you a caveat. Check yourself. After reading a report on digital divide, which highlights how access to technology differs widely by personal characteristics like race and income, I am thinking you need to double check your assumptions here. So this report challenged a widespread assumption that data collected online is representative of the population at large. To practice identifying assumptions in data analysis, students are provided a series of scenarios in which data-driven decisions are made based on flawed assumptions. So we need to be very careful when we're looking at data because assumptions could be flawed, okay? They will need to identify the assumptions being made, most notably those related to the digital divide, and explain why these assumptions lead to incorrect conclusions. So you walk into a search, you search the term you're looking for, be careful as to what you're assuming during that process. Here's my favorite example. So there's a story about a city who was tired of crime in a specific neighborhood, so they got rid of the police patrolling that area. And not surprisingly, the crime, that is the arrests, went drastically down. So obviously the assumption is to solve crime, we should get rid of police. Okay, and you know how silly that sounds, but it's still a great point as to you need to be careful with your assumptions when walking into data analysis, all right? If you want to learn more about this particular picture I have here, Microsoft recently got in trouble for creating a patent, a GPS patent that helped people avoid the ghetto. So to learn more, go ahead and search this, the Joy of Microsoft's Avoid Ghetto patent. It said Microsoft has granted a patent for a GPS that will help pedestrians avoid high crime areas and high heat areas. Okay, the high heat, if we're talking temperature, that sounds a little more reasonable. But the problem with creating such a technology is that people feel like we're discriminating against poor neighborhoods. And if somebody's going to travel somewhere, if we're looking at the fastest point from point A to point B, if it happens to be through a poor neighborhood, opponents of this particular patent would say that it's okay to go through the poor neighborhood because, not surprisingly, if you're going to spend money, if you're going to stop somewhere to buy something, these neighborhoods probably need it the most, right? So just an interesting last story before we do the DOL. The DOL should be a very exciting one today. You get to go to trends.google.com and look at the stories trending now. That's what it's titled. And that's right on the front page as soon as you type in trends.google.com. And I want you to write a data story about one of those. So you can pick one, whichever one's trending when you go there. So pick a story and be careful to make sure all the data is present. Sometimes when I've clicked a trending story, there's things missing. So choose one at least with all that extra data included. And what I'm talking about is maybe the sub-region data is not there. So try to find a topic that has all the data, and then you have 2 things to do. Accurately describe what the visualization is showing, and then give a plausible explanation of why that trend might have happened. Essentially, what you're doing is the thing we did together here. Well, this is the I do right here, my example. And then the one right before it here is the one you can do either on your own or with a partner. And now, after doing that, basically the same thing here, but with a story that is trending at the moment.